Welcome back to Warriors Weekly. Now Basketball 101 with Jim Barnett.
Once again, we have assistant coach Scott Roth with us. And Scott is a former player in the NBA. I believe the only assistant coach on the Warriors coaching staff who has played in the NBA, and also a player over in Europe and Turkey and Greece. And you were brought here to help these players become better skilled basketball players. And even though someone has played in the NBA, even for several years, they can always improve. And I know you've been an assistant coach in Dallas, and in Memphis, there's a young man who got pretty good, who has a ring now, Pau Gasol, and you worked with him. And what are the things that you worked with him, and how are you going to incorporate that with some of the players here with Anthony Randolph, Andres Biedrins, for instance?
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be around some great players. Like, if you've been in this league long enough, you've been around them. So, from Nowitzki in Dallas and Finley and Nash, and then I was very fortunate to get Gasol his rookie year along with Shane Battier that year.
When you see Pau Gasol, who can shoot a mid-range jump shot, and now you've got Andres Biedrins, but they're both gifted with good hands.
Right.
When you start with good hands, what are you trying to incorporate, like with Andres Biedrins? Now, he's not going to play the high post as far as being a shooter right now.
But I think, with those guys, they have good hands, but they have great feet. And especially in big guys, if the footwork's kind of messed up along the way, that's, I think, where you start. I think everything from the floor up is where shooting happens, where footwork happens, where scoring happens, and playing from the floor up. So if you have good footwork, that's the first thing. And lucky with Pau and with Andres, they already have that. I think with Biedrins, the biggest thing with him is making him comfortable with his go-to move. I know he likes to go to his left hook, but I think you need a counter at some point there also, to where you feel like you're comfortable going in a different direction or in a position where you can make a pass out of there. And so with him, we'll continue to work at that. I think film is very important. I think guys don't see enough of themselves and see open areas on the floor and what they can do.
I know you're going to be working with Anthony Randolph, and he presents a whole different set of circumstances because he's got the height, he's got the length, he's got talent, and none of us really know where he will end and how far he will develop, but there's a lot of potential there. How do you get his ear, and how do you get him to be patient, to just slow down and take it a little bit at a time?
Well, I think they've been doing a good job with him. Obviously, he came out from the beginning of the year to last year with them, and I see that any of these guys that we've talked about, tremendous work ethic. So I think that has to be the first thing you instill with a young player, getting the work every day, getting the practice hard every day, and understanding that it's not the quantity of your minutes, it's the quality of those minutes that you're out there. And getting to understand that work ethic in the beginning. And once you build that, I think he's just turned 20 years old. He's got a lot of basketball ahead of him. It's exciting. Like you said, he's very versatile, but getting a work ethic is something that I'll try to work with him every day about coming out and competing every day.
When you talk about Anthony Randolph, he can face up and shoot. Do you emphasize the importance of being able to be a two-way player? You can go inside and score, but also keep the defense honest by maintaining at least a reasonable jump shot.
And really, he's in a great position because Nelly's a master with those kind of players, a mismatch guy. He has the ability as a forward to step out to the 18-foot range and face you up. And he's one of those guys, once again, taking advantage of what your skill set is and who's guarding you. He's been very good on the elbows. We'll work with him there. That's where Nelly likes to play a lot of his offense, off the elbows, developing a shot so he becomes a knockdown jump shooter. And then just having him, once again, a very good go-to move in the post if you happen to have a smaller guy on him. I think Nelly's one of those guys that will be able to bait you into some switches with him and use it in some clever ways, and we just got to make sure that he's comfortable. And then the other thing too, especially with post players, is if they're not scoring it, at least they're getting to the foul line. And all those guys end up being very good foul shooters, and that's where they get their extra points at the foul line, by getting strong moves to the basket and then getting to the foul line one way or another.
All right, Scott. Well, welcome aboard, and we thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm
for
excited.
being with us today on Basketball 101, and we know that you're going to help improve the Warriors' play throughout the season.